Hey, good evening, everyone in the USA, all over the world, Canada, Long Island, aka Strong Island, plus the five spots of Brooklyn, Bronx, Manhattan, Staten Island, and Queens. I'm your man, G Money Stacks, aka the misunderstood lonely nomad, YouTuber, host with the most, the unstoppable independent podcaster, and rookie podcaster of Queens, New York. And you are now listening and tuning in and rocking with the 130th episode of Off the Meat Rack Chainz New York podcast. The show based on unfiltered various topics in comedy, entertainment, music, and real life stuff. And we are live and direct from StreamYard, YouTube, and alongside with Instagram Live, which is the podcast show page feed. Make sure you turn the notifications on Instagram so you know when I'll be on the air on a weekly basis. So there you go right there. Um Now, if you miss any new and previous episodes on YouTube and audio streaming platforms, don't worry, I got you back. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel right here, which is G Money Stacks 555. And make sure you tap that noti bell so you can be reminded when the show goes in the air via live stream. Um, Leave a like and a comment along with the episodes. And of course, stay tuned for more video content, upcoming episodes, previous episodes. Make sure you share the videos, share the episodes, download your favorite episodes, tell a friend to another friend, and I will handle the rest at the end of the show. All right. Now, um, a little something something. Let me just get into a little thing that I like to call mental check-in. All right. All right, this is the segment in case you guys don't know. If you are a new listener and a new YouTube watcher from the YouTube universe, this is a segment about your well-being, as long as everybody else, and pertain to myself. So, as far as myself is concerned, um, how am I feeling mentally, physically, and spiritually? You ask. Well, for the most part, mentally, I am doing okay. Physically, I had to make sure that I rest my back. Um, my back was a little hurting and stuff like that, but I managed to figure out a way how to get a little comfortable. Like I'm doing right now on the air right now. So, um, and spiritually, I am basically in between, but I am trying to figure things out though. And the most important thing about mental health check-in is to make sure you reach out to your loved ones, like your husbands, your wives, your boyfriends, your girlfriends, your friends. Um, it could be, it could be the people that work with you at your job. It could be your cousins, um, your uncles, whoever, you know what I'm saying? Um, and there is no good time to reach out to somebody when it comes to mental health check-ins. It's it's all about um, following your mind, your soul, your heart, your intentions, your instincts, and your heart. Um, for the most part, don't worry about picking a time frame or the best time to actually reach out to somebody. You know what I'm saying? Um, because at the same time, you wouldn't want to feel like you missed out on what this person is going through as far as internally and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So so there you go right there. Um Now, for the most part, the most important thing is as we get into this show right here. This is chatting on the jazz right here. You know what? Actually, let me do a little transit news. This Before I even go into chatting on the jazz, let's get into the New York Mass Transit files, shall we? We're gonna get into that right now with some noise right here. All right. Um all right. Let me get myself situated. Here we go. Now, um first subject in transit news has to do with a man being stabbed by a stranger on a New York City platform. Another stabbing and slashing. This is getting ridiculous right here, folks. This is so fucking ridiculous. It's not even a joke right there. Um so a man was stabbed during an argument with a stranger at a lower Manhattan subway station Friday evening, police said. The attack happened at the Fulton Street station on the downtown 4 and 5 platform around 8:20 p.m. The victim intervened when a woman and two children were approached by the suspect and told the man to leave them alone, sources told the Post. After an argument, the suspect stabbed the 37-year-old man in the shoulder, the sources said. The suspect is a young man wearing a black hooded sweatshirt, fled the station at Broadway and Fulton Street, and was still being sought early Saturday, the sources said. The victim is being held at Bellevue Hospital and is expected to survive. Um, let's see. Yeah, yeah, that part. This is crazy, man. For me to hear something like this is just beyond. It's beyond ridiculous, right there. Um, in other transit news, um, now the MTA decides to use their heads. Now, this is what you call using your head, which is the name of the episode right here. And this is pertaining to the MTA and other particular topics we're about to get to. Um, so here we go. So knocking your head no more. Construction workers started removing massive low hanging steel beams known as head knockers from Penn Station's 33rd Street concourse this week as part of the head knockers, part of the Metropolitan Transportation Authority's $559 million renovation of the notoriously cramped corridor. Everyone who uses the Long Island Railroad concourse knows them and hates them because they prevent us from having any human-sized head height, said MTA chairperson and CEO Jano Lieber during a press conference inside a construction site in the station Tuesday. These are the main culprit in making Penn feel so dungeon-like, among other culprits. The 10-ton beams are original to the old Penn Station but hang as low as 6 feet, making them a hazard for taller commuters rushing through the passageway between 7th and 8th Avenues. Their removal is part of a larger, almost 4-year revamp to widen and heighten the concourse, following the opening of a new entrance at its eastern end. The MTA had to put in a new support structure for the streets and stadium above before removing the load-bearing beams, said the agency's head of construction and development. In quote, we had to remove the previous structural roof and replace it with a secondary structure that supported not only the street but also Madison Square Garden, also without shutting down 7th Avenue, and all by operating the busiest train station in North America, remarked Janie Torres Springer. Not to be confused with Jerry Springer, folks. I know what you're thinking, man. Oh man, this this was a very complicated feat of engineering. There are 7 head knockers. Head knockers. Oh shit. Oh man. Good thing I named this episode Use Your Head. Oh man. Oh man. Okay. Yeah, head knockers total, and the MTA took out the first one last week, the second one Tuesday, and we'll start lifting out rather the others this weekend. Torres Springer said. The agency started the project in June 2019 to overhaul the corridor, beginning with a brand new entrance with escalators, which opened at the end of 2020. Construction contractor Skanska is working to raise the ceilings to a uniform 18 feet and widen the walkway from 30 feet to almost double at 57 feet. Almost with new entrances, stairwells, and elevators to the tracks. Developer Venardo will be in charge of the new retailers that will line the corridor, and the renovation is slated to wrap in March 2023, which is next year. Its scope makes up about 1/5 of Penn Station, and Governor Kathy Hochul and the MTA plan to roll out a facelift for remainder of the Maze Light Transit Hub. This is 20% of Penn Station. The other 80% can and will look like this, with these wide, capacious corridors with the room under the ceilings for people to feel comfortable with the improved entrances, said Torres Springer. Hochul's $6 to $7 billion proposal is to knock out 1 or 2 floors to create a light-filled train hall inside Penn Station, along with 8 acres of new public space. The governor relaunched a slightly scaled back but still controversial version of a Cuomo era 10 tower mega development around the station in November, which she said is needed to fund the project. Good government groups have questioned that reasoning and sounded the alarm about a lack of transparency surrounding the deal, demanding more proof to show that the real estate deal is really needed. Venardo, which owns or leases the largest shares of the development, is also a big donor of Hochul's election campaign. Lieber said the predominantly office campus will put workplaces near transit, and reiterated the idea that revenues from the development are necessary to support the station improvements. It's just good planning because it gives you an opportunity to do what everybody talks about, which is value capture. He said, "It's only It's the only way we're gonna get underground courses, concourses actually, and new entrances to Penn Station. All right. Let's see if there's any. Hold on a minute. If there's any more transit stuff that I didn't get a chance to talk about. Let me double check. Uh, yeah, that's gonna really do it though. Um, now we could go into now we could go into chatting all the jazz right here. Yes, now before I even get into why freedom and free speech is not free and the Will Smith stuff and the Kanye West stuff and stuff like that. Um um there's an actor who recently passed away. His name is Emilio Delgado. Basically passed away at age 81. And here's what's happening. Emilio Delgado, who played the endearing character Luis Rodriguez on Sesame Street for more than 4 decades, has died. Delgado is remembered for bringing a positive image of Latinos to television, shattering stereotypes that have been part of mainstream media for years. He was 81. Um, we are saddened by the news of Emilio's passing. Emilio was an immense talent who brought so much joy and smiles to his fans. He will be missed by many, and we know his legacy will live on. Our thoughts are with his loved ones, including his wife, Carol. Variety quoted his manager, A3 Artists Agency CEO Robert Adaman. His cause of death was not immediately released. However, NPR reported that Delgado was diagnosed 2 years ago with a form of blood cancer. Damn. Damn, that's gotta suck right there, though, man. That really has to suck. Yeah, that sucks right there. Delgado landed his role as the Fix-It Shop owner on the landmark children's education program in 1971. Quickly becoming a beloved member of the Sesame Street family for generations, he ended his run on the program in 2015 at the 438 episodes. Long before diversity and inclusive practices were company departmental mainstays, Sesame Street hired Delgado as part of an initiative to bring diversity to its programming through Spanish language segments of the show. Born in the US but raised in part in Mexico, Delgado infused Hispanic cultural lessons and language learning into the show. He playfully interacted with the Muppet characters and used his guitar to introduce viewers to Latin infused music. In 1988, his character married Maria Sonia Manzano. The couple raised their TV daughter Gabriella on the show. His acting career began in the late 1960s. Before portraying Lewis, Delgado struggled to find positive roles as a Latino actor. The only roles that I could find were gang members of or drug addicts, he said in 2021 for a Sesame Street retrospective documentary titled Street Gang. I realized I had gotten a role on television that was a role of a Latino, Mexican, American who was like a regular person. He was part of the neighborhood. He had his own business. It was a role that hadn't been shown before. In addition to Sesame Street, Delgado has appeared on several TV programs in the 1970s and 1980s, including Hawaii Five-O, House of Cards, and a recurring role as a news editor on Lou Grant. He was also a board member at the Bayard Rustin Center for Social Justice, an LGBTQ plus rights group. Former New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio declared October 15th, 2019, Emilio Delgado Day at a celebration to honor Hispanics' heritage. At a time when, if you saw diversity on television, it often was with stereotypes and not the good kind of stereotypes. The New York Times quoted de Blasio. Emilio was one of the people who broke the mold, created a positive role model for everyone, but particularly for children who didn't get to see or hear people who looked like them and spoke like them. Yeah. So SIP to Emilio Delgado. Okay. Now now I want to get into something that kind of caught my attention. And this is in regards to freedom of speech. Um Hold on a second. Now I brought up freedom of speech because I was listening to an episode of See the Thing is podcast, and that episode title is, freedom ain't free. So I wanted to actually look into this and break it down for you folks out there that's really trying to have an understanding why freedom isn't free. So I'm gonna actually go over something. So this is let me just go through this right there. All right, so most Americans know the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution grants us freedom of speech. It states Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press. The intent of the drafters is clear. They believe that in a free society, people must be permitted to criticize government and lobby for change. But how far do free speech protections go? What are the limits of free speech? And who has the authority to restrict speech? These questions have repeatedly been addressed by the United States Supreme Court, and over the past 200 years, the definition of free speech has evolved and been refined by the courts. Initially, the First Amendment protection was limited to congressional action, but the courts expanded the definition to prohibit federal, state, and local governments from enacting limitations on freedom of speech or freedom of the press. While freedom of speech is one of our fundamental rights, there are limitations. What is and what isn't protected speech has been the subject of countless lawsuits over the years. While those court decisions have provided some clarity, um, technologic advances and the public's use of internet forums have created new issues and challenges for the courts to address. As a general rule, limitations of free speech preclude speech that is harmful to others, um, like threatening or generally repulsive and revile. Obscenity obscenity is not protected by the First Amendment. The issue here is defining what is and isn't obscene. Back in the 19th century, U.S. courts held that blasphemy was obscene speech and not protected by the First Amendment. Those rulings have since been overturned, and people now have a constitutional right to blasphemy as much as they want. Cursing or swearing is not what the courts consider obscenity. Most Pornography also falls in the category of protected speech. Obscenity is something worse. In 1973, the United States Supreme Court in Miller versus California created a three-part test for a legal definition of obscenity. Whether the average person applying contemporary community standards would find that work taken as a whole appeals to the um prurient interest, whether the work depicts or describes in a patently offensive way. Sexual conduct specifically defined by the applicable state law, and whether the work taken as a whole lacks serious literacy, no, literally, um, artistic, political, or scientific value. Child pornography images depicting torture, murder, rape, or um, mutilation are some of the types of materials the courts consider pornographic. Child pornography is banned speech even when it does not meet the Miller test. The limits of obscene speech also apply to broadcasting. The FCC regulates broadcasting and sets obscenity guidelines broadcasters must follow. Of course, lying in many circumstances is not protected speech. Um, Lying under oath is perjury, a criminal offense. It is not protected speech under the First Amendment. Lying to investigators charged by a government agency to investigate a crime is also a criminal offense without constitutional protection. We have all read about financiers or businessmen going to prison for lying to federal investigators. Uh, Martha Stewart is an example most people remember. She went to prison for lying about her stock trading during a federal investigation. Dishonest or bogus advertising can also lead to prosecution. Although deceptive advertising is a pervasive problem in our society, if you can pin down the perpetrator, it can be prosecuted as a crime. On the other hand, politicians and other public figures have considerable leeway in bending the truth to suit their own interests. Most of us recognize political rhetoric for what it is, a pack of lies designed to promote and candidate's agenda. You may not like it, but it is protected speech under law. All right. Hold on. Yeah. Um, okay, fighting words, threats, and inciting violence will not be protected. Yeah, yeah, President 45 is a prime example. Of course, the same idiot who thought that bleach was a fucking treatment for coronavirus. That's not something to joke about, man. Anyway, man, the fighting words doctrine was first described as Kalins Chaplinsky versus New Hampshire. 3 315 US 568 1942, where the Supreme Court upheld a state law prohibiting one person from insulting or defaming another on a public street. The statutory prohibition at issued applied only if the deriv, derivatives deriv, derivatives language was designed to incite or promote violence. The purpose behind the statute was to preserve the public peace by preventing street brawls. The Supreme Court upheld the law because it was so narrow in scope. Ordinary insults were not prohibited. In Cohen versus California, 403 U.S. 15, 1971, the court further clarified its position on threatening or violent speech. The Cohen court held that a T-shirt containing an expletive was protected by the First Amendment because it was not directed at any one person, and could not reasonably be expected to lead to a breach of the peace. It is this same doctrine that prohibits overt threats of bodily harm, swatting or yelling fire in a crowded theater, falsely yelling fire in a crowded building, and swatting are pranks that can lead to people being injured or killed. Just last week, there was a news story about a young man's swatting prank leading to an innocent person's death. The young man called 911 and falsely reported a hostage situation. A SWAT team was dispatched and killed an innocent man who had no idea what was going on. Schools may limit a student's free speech. Schools have the right to ban cursing, to censor school newspapers, and to monitor books and publications brought on campus, while some states have passed laws limiting a school's control over student free speech rights. The school's obligation to protect students and maintain an orderly environment still trumps the right of free speech in the school setting. Private enterprises and places of employment, the First Amendment protections apply to government actions. They do not apply to private businesses. You have no free speech rights in your workplace. Your employer is entitled to enforce prohibitions um, against political speech, religious speech, and profanity. If you have a bumper sticker on your car that your boss deems offensive, he can demand that you remove the bumper sticker or face dismissal. Private employers can ban political discussions and clothing that expresses political or controversial views. As with employers, the First Amendment does not apply to restrictions imposed by a private business. A store, restaurant, or other business can ban patrons who violate their company policies by wearing clothing with profanity, carrying picket signs or posters into the business, screaming profanity at employees or customers, or giving soapbox type speeches. Private business has the right to refuse service to customers it deems offensive so long as there is no sexual, racial, or religious discrimination. Government employees do have some First Amendment free speech rights at work. There have been multiple Supreme Court cases on this issue in Pickering versus Board of Education, 391 U.S. 563, 1967. No, excuse me, 1968. Um, the court made it clear that government employers do have a legitimate interest in regulating the speech of employees. The court stated that the government has a greater right to restrict employee speech than it does the speech of the general public, but that right is not absolute. Government employees do have a right to speak out as citizens on issues of public concern. The Pickering case concerned a public school teacher who wrote a letter to the newspaper criticizing the school board administration. The court ruled it was unconstitutional to fire the teacher for acting as a concerned citizen addressing an issue of importance to the community. The teacher worked for the school and not the administration. So the speech at issue was not directly related to her job. In contrast, the court reach a different conclusion when the speech was directly related to the employer's job. In Connick versus Meyer, 461 U.S. 138, 1983, the U.S. Supreme Court upheld firing an assistant district attorney for insubordination when she circulated a questionnaire around the office questioning employee moral. Time and a place restrictions on free speech. The Constitution allows regulation of free speech when the imposed restrictions are content neutral, served a significant government interest, and there are plenty of alternative methods for communicating the restricted views. Time and place restrictions have been used to ban picketing in front of abortion clinics, to ban nude dance clubs and adult bookstores in school zones, and other similar restrictions. Protesters have been a fixture at political gatherings since political parties were invented. The government is permitted to confine protesters to so called free speech zones to protect both attendees and protesters from a violent confrontation. Um, Prior restraint is another type of time and place restriction on free speech. While the courts are very reluctant to allow prior restraint restrictions, there are a few exceptions. For example, the government can prohibit a newspaper from publishing the expected departure date and location of troop ships en route to a battle zone. Examples of speech that is protected by the First Amendment. Now let's discuss a few examples of speech that is protected by the First Amendment. You have the right through your you have the right through your actions to refrain from speech. We are not talking about the Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. We are talking about the types of actions people use to as protest. For example, you don't have to salute the flag. You have the right to take a knee during the national anthem, which I never want to do. You have the right to use offensive words and phrases to communicate a political message. Students have the right to wear black armbands at school to protest a war. Um, People have the right to engage in symbolic speech like burning the flag in protest. You have the right to advertise your professional or commercial services. All these rights have been established through litigation and decisions by the United States Supreme Court. Free speech and a free press are essential to our democracy. In the words of Evelyn Beatrice Hall, as she paraphrased um, Voltaire, I disapprove of what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it. Now, here's where it gets a little tricky right here, man. The whole freedom of speech is not free, which I'm having a hard time understanding this. So we're gonna go into why it's not free actually, so I can really get a better understanding. And this is crazy, man. Um, this is really crazy. Um, so why isn't freedom really free? So of course, there's a couple of people who say, not under the control or in the power of another, able to act or be done as one wishes. This is crazy, man. Objective, not physically restrained. What is it? Not physically restrained, obstructed, or fixed. Um, Unimpeded. When people say that we are free, they don't mean that we are free. They only mean that we are free to choose. In life, we are constrained by two things: reality and ourselves. Let's say you are having dinner, and let's say you are filthy rich and can buy anything in the world. Even though you are rich and can get anything in the world, your choice of food will still be limited by how many kinds of food you know. If you know, excuse me, if you don't know that sushi exists, then sushi won't be on your list of food to have for dinner. Thus, you are constrained by yourself. Okay, let's then say that you knew. all the food in the world and you are still very much filthy rich, then even then you still wouldn't be able to choose what you want because there are food compost of animal that has gone extinct. Even if you know about the food, you still won't be able to get it. Thus, you are constrained by reality. Hold on, folks. Let me get a sip of water. Stay with me. All right. Okay. In this world, there's no such thing as freedom, only the freedom to choose. That's interesting. And that's why I brought up See the Thing is podcast episode Freedom Ain't Free. It's for me to let me just put myself on screen, man. The reason I bring up the particular episode of See the Thing is podcast with the title Freedom Isn't Free is because I want to get a better understanding on why that is. So I'm basically trying to break it down for you folks out there that's having a hard time understanding why freedom isn't free and what are some stuff that's actually protected by the First Amendment and stuff like that. I think it's important to actually, what I'm saying, to know that you have the freedom right to choose. It's not what it seems, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, there you go right there. So yeah, there you go right there. All right. Yeah. So there's a couple of people who I'm actually reading from Quora. And some people were basically saying, okay, absolutely true. Freedom is not really free. We have to struggle for our own freedom. We have to lose so many things that inhibits us from achieving freedom, whether it could be friends, family, or anyone and anything that stops us from achieving it. So, in one sentence, it's pretty difficult. Wait a minute here. Life would be a whole lot easier if someone would just Venmo Venmo us $1 million, but unfortunately, the chance of that happening is probably zero. Um, but even though our chances of becoming a millionaire are slim, we can still manage our money like one. No, we're not going to tell you how to buy hundreds of shares of Apple stock or how to pick out the perfect yacht. Um, I'm not even gonna go into all this shit though, man. I'm not even gonna go into all this shit though, man. Let me just I'm just trying to all right. I'm not even gonna get into all this shit. Um anyway. Just wanted to get a better understanding. Wanted to get a better understanding though. So what does freedom is not free mean? So let's break this down, man. Um yeah, this is just crazy. All right. This is ridiculous, man. Why you got me doing this shit? Um. All right. 1 second, man. Hold on a second, folks. Trying to get the best answer I could actually find. So Okay, what does it mean that freedom is not free? This is no. Um okay. Um Wait a minute, man. What the hell? Jeez, man. This is ridiculous, man. Why? What does that have to do with anything? Oh my gosh. Man. Okay, hold on. Wait a minute here. Shit. Um. Oh boy. Um. Wait. This is just. What does that have to do with anything, man? All right. All right. Finally, I'm gonna be able to. So, okay, what does freedom is not free mean? It's because English can be maddeningly, maddeningly imprecise language at times. Okay, let's see. So free, not under the control or in the power of another, able to act or be done as one wishes, not not or no longer confined or imprisoned. Um, so whatever that means. Um, all right, man. I don't know what this is. So this is just nuts, man. Um, okay. This is weird. Um, hold on a minute here. I'm gonna look. I'm trying to get some better understanding about this. Why is freedom not free? I'm trying to get a better answer than this, though. This is crazy. Hold on. Um, let's see. Understanding exactly why freedom is not free. Um, okay. So, okay, this is from nationalcenter.org. I am going to actually try to get a better understanding than this. As we heard into the Memorial Day weekend, Project 21 member Charles Butler has a message for those who might not understand the meaning behind a holiday that many trivialize or merely consider the beginning of summer fun. People often use phrases and idioms that sound cool and hip without really real understanding their true meaning. We all definitely be hearing one phrase of that sort this weekend. Freedom is not free. When people who have never served in the military use the phrase freedom is not free, I often find it to be done in a very convoluted and disingenuous manner on many levels. For example, we lost dozens of American lives fighting to hold Ramadi almost a decade ago, and yet campaign promises essentially gave the Iraqi Iraqi towns to ISIS terrorists just this week. These brave men and women who died in service to our nation will blah 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 will be mourned this weekend. Fathers, mothers, blah blah blah. Okay, so let me just get this cut to the chase. A price was paid in Normandy for freedom, but then the investment was squandered. That's not right. So all Americans, so Americans of all ages, socioeconomic status, politics, ethnicity, and gender use freedom is not free, as if they know exactly what it means to put service to their country and the commitment to an ideal before one's um, own self interest. They often do not. The truth is that only a fraction of Americans under 50 have served their country in uniform. Many really don't seem to feel it is their obligation these days. So we can establish people are often unclear on the concept of freedom is not free. It's a shame. When people use it, do they at least even know its origins? The honest answer is probably not, but that's okay. To help, here is some background and credibility for them as we prepare to observe, blah, blah, blah. So, the origin of freedom is not free is credited to retired U.S. Air Force um, Colonel Walter Hitchcock of the New Mexico Military Institute. It is meant to express gratitude for the service of members of the military, im- implicitly stating that the freedoms enjoyed by those living in democracies today are only possible due to the risk taken and sacrifices made by those in the armed services. It conveys respect specifically to those who gave their lives in defense of our freedom. Freedom is not free, for example, is engraved onto a portion of the Korean War Veterans Memorial, Washington, D.C. While it should be a powerful phrase to all, it is particularly important to veterans, those of us who have served our country, um, honorably salute and say an often silent prayer for our fallen soldiers, no, fallen brothers actually, and sisters who fought so Americans can enjoy the rights and freedoms granted to them by our Constitution. When you are at a barbecue or watching the game this weekend, please take a moment to say at least a silent thank you to veterans for their service. You might also donate to veterans charity to lend a helping hand to those vets who have fallen on hard times. And um you might also say a prayer for those still serving. They seem to need it these days. Um, hold on a minute, man. So let me just get something clear. So, all right, freedom is not free. So the origin of the saying "freedom is not free" is credited to retired Air Force Colonel Walter Hitchcock of the New Mexico Military Institute, according to the Project 21 website. The axiom is meant to express gratitude for the service of members of the military, stating the freedoms enjoyed by those living in democracies today are only um, possible due to the risk taken and sacrifices made by those in the armed services. The adage conveys respect to those who gave their lives in defense of our freedom. Freedom is not free, for example. Yeah, and grade to um engraved onto a portion of the Korean War Veterans Memorial in Washington, D.C. The meaning of the phrase is important to veterans. Veterans visited 10 cemeteries located in Carroll County to honor fallen soldiers on Memorial Day, Monday, May 25th. Beginning at 8:30 a.m. Morning High Cemetery, blah blah, was the first stop, followed by Delphi, Oof Cemetery, Hickory Grove Cemetery, Uman Cemetery, Pleasant Run Cemetery, and the Pittsburgh Oof Cemetery. Jeez. I'm not even gonna read all this, man. But so let's see. This is crazy, man. Let me see. Now, before I even get to, so why is freedom not free? I'm not understanding this, but um, um, I don't know, man. But what I will actually say, hold on a second. Yeah, this right here doesn't really explain why free speech is not free or whatever. This doesn't explain. All right. Okay, so let me just let me just yeah, because this doesn't make any sense. Hold on, folks. All right. Okay. Okay. Why is free speech not free? Wait, not free. Hold on. Why is free speech not free? Hold on a minute. There's gotta be another explanation for this shit. Yeah, I read. Yeah. So. Yes. So. Interpretation. Freedom of speech. Let me see. Trying to. I ain't gonna stay on this subject for too long. I'm just trying to see if there's a way for me to get a better understanding on why free speech is not free. And it's just yeah, wait. So limits to free speech. Yeah, I think we need to learn the limits to free speech actually. Hold on. So if I could get a better understanding on this shit though. Yeah, hold on. Wait a second. This is crazy. Wait, free speech, freedom of speech, whatever it is. Now this is gonna really be crazy. I'm actually gonna see what the hell's this. Boy. All right. While I'm looking for this, actually, I am freedom of speech pros and cons. Oh Lord. Okay, wait a second. Wait a minute. Why is free speech not allowed? Maybe categories, blah blah blah. Why is free? Yeah. So free speech, the First Amendment of the United States Constitution guarantees that the government cannot abridge the freedom of speech. The courts, however, have consistently found that this guarantee is not without limit. Wow. Jeez. Why is free speech not allowed? So it's not really free speech. The right to free speech is not absolute. The U.S. Supreme Court has ruled that the government sometimes may be allowed to limit speech. Historically, a fundamental distinction arose between the content of speech and the means whereby that speech is expressed. Okay, so a better understanding. If I could get a better understanding with this shit though, man. If I could get a better understanding. Yeah, if I could get a better understanding, because so um so my understanding is that there's limitations to free speech. And this is just wow. Yeah, I did not know this. This is crazy, man. Of course, there's limitation of free speech, precludes speech that is harmful to others. Yeah. Yes. So to my recollection. Hold on a minute. Hold on a second. So wow. All right. All right, enough with this. Enough with this. Let me go to the whole thing with Will Smith for a second before I get to the whole. Hold on a second, man. Hold on a second here. All right. I hope you guys probably understand why free speech is not free. In case you guys didn't know, you guys are more than welcome to listen to this episode after this is done recording. So, of course, let me see. So, so obviously everybody knew what happened at the Oscars, right? So, for those of you who may not know, I'm gonna fill you in. Will Smith apologized to Chris Rock on Monday, saying he reacted emotionally to a joke about Jada's medical condition. Um, Now before I even get to that, this is uh let me just get this. Let me get to this part right here. Hold on. Let me just yeah, we all know what the hell's going on here. Um okay. Um so all right. Even before he slapped Chris Rock, Will Smith was on a knife edge after tolerating months of jibes about his marriage to Jada Pinkett Smith on the awards circuit. Multiple sources tell Page Six, uh, as he took a seat at the Diddy Theater in Hollywood Sunday night, Smith, waiting expectantly to pick up his first Oscar, faced yet another joke about his open marriage to Pinkett Smith, which irked the actor, we are told. Hold on a second here. Um, in a tasteless bit Earlier in the ceremony, host Regina Hall called up eligible Hollywood hunks on stage. She said, Will Smith, you are married, but you know what you are on the list, and it looks like Jada approved you, so you get on up here. One source close to the Smiths said Jada and Will and Jada have taken the high road when it comes to stupid gossip about polygamy, polyamory, and Scientology, but they have felt more exposed these past few years, and it's taken its toll. They have repeatedly been dogged with questions about their marriage of 25 years during this awards season, and Will is, according to the source, fed up with it. Critics say that's a little rich, considering Jada has been so upfront about her marriage issues and has even profited off them by discussing them on her Red Table Talk show on Facebook. In 2020, the couple came clean about 50-year-old Jada's entanglement with much younger R&B singer August Alsina, age 29, who had claimed that he had an intense affair with the actress. She admitted that she had been in a relationship with August Alsina, but she added that she didn't consider it a transgression because she and Will were on a break at the time. Yeah, of course, um, pertaining to then in September 2021, Will, age 53, told GQ that their relationship had evolved beyond monogamy and we have given each other trust and freedom with the belief that anybody has to find their own way, adding, and marriage for us can't be a prison. But it's different for the Smiths when they aren't controlling the message. While Will missed the BAFTAs earlier this month to stay in Los Angeles for the Critics' Choice Award, host Rebel Wilson quit that his best performance in the past year was being okay with all his wife's boyfriends. At the SAG Awards last month, Red Carpet host Laverne Cox told the couple, we can't wait for more entanglements. No more of those, Jada said repeatedly, while Smith, besides her, forced a smile. Sources say the couple are not currently seeing other people. The Post earlier reported that therapy has helped Will and Jada, who share a son, Jaden, age 23, and daughter Willow, 21, work through their issues. He after revealed in his memoir that after they temporarily split in 2011, he visited a tantric sex expert and tripped on um, I ayahuasca 14 times to help heal his broken heart. Of course, they've been through therapy, and this is where their relationship has landed, said an insider. They love each other very much. Reps for Will and Jada didn't comment. Yeah. All right. But another source close to the Smiths insisted jibes about their relationship doesn't bother them, especially bullshit rumors and gossip. The source added of Will's issue with Rock, this was personal. If someone else would have said it, it probably would have wouldn't have mattered as much. But this was totally personal, stemming from 2016 and maybe before that. Jada, who starred in the Madagascar movies with Rock, is particularly hurt said to be particularly hurt by his jokes about her in 2016 and at this year's Oscars, and Will wants to protect her. The source added. The Breakfast Club, the Breakfast Club host Angela Yee, on whose show Alsina, age 29, first revealed his affair with Jada, said of Will's shocking assault on Chris Rock, there's no way that after all these things that have been said, all jokes made, all the memes, everything in this joke is one
is the one thing that bothers you. I don't know if it's just directly at Chris Rock or just directed at everybody, but it just feels like it was a whole entire buildup of all those things, and he was just frustrated. She tells Page Six. I think part of the issue is putting a lot of your business out there. It leaves you open for people to make comments and make jokes about any and everything, because the more you know, the more you can weaponize things against anybody. Um, she continued, I personally don't think Chris Rock's jokes were so bad, but I guess when you look back at the things that Chris said about them in the past, maybe they don't have a good history together. Of course, Rock poked fun at the Smiths back in 2016 when an A-list couple boycotted the Oscars due to all white acting nominees. Jada said she's not coming. I was like, isn't she on a TV show? Jada's gonna boycott the Oscars. Jada boycotting the Oscars is like me boycotting Rihanna's panties. I wasn't invited. Rock joke. He said that while Jada's relationship with Alcina happened during a break in the union with Will, and he allegedly knew all about it, he may have felt under pressure to prove himself by defending his wife. She explained, I see a lot of people who are married who side with Will. Maybe Will was under pressure from Jada to prove his manhood as well. I see a lot of women supporting what Will did, and I see a lot of husbands supporting him. But I also see a lot of comedians supporting Chris Rock. At this year's Oscars, Rock made a joke about Pinkett's bald head. She has been open about her battle with Apple no alopecia. Let me break down what that is for you guys out there that don't know what that is. I never learned about alopecia when I was in school, so I haven't even heard about this. So let's look this up. Alopecia. Um, so okay, so alopecia is basically a condition that involves sudden hair loss that starts with one or more circular bold patches that may overlap. Alopecia areata occurs when the immune system attacks hair follicles and may be brought on by severe stress. Wow. Wow. And so maybe we can actually get a better explanation about alopecia. All right, so what causes hair loss? Oh, yeah. No, wait. No, no. Alopecia. I want to get a better um. I want to get a better explanation on this though. Okay, so alopecia is an autoimmune disorder that causes your hair to come out, often in clumps the size and shape of a quarter. The amount of hair loss is different in everyone. Some people lose it only in a few spots. Others lose a lot. Sometimes hair grows back but falls out again later. In others, hairs hairs grows back for good. Of course, there is wow, man. So there are different types of this condition. Alopecia um is most common in its main form, but there are other more rare types. Alopecia means you've lost all your hair on your head. Um, Of course, it is the loss of hair over your entire body. Um, Diffuse alopecia is a sudden thinning of your hair rather than lost patches. And wow. Okay, so here, let me just clue you in on the symptoms behind it. So, this is orphiasis alopecia, um, areata causes hair loss in a band shape around the sides and back of your head. Alopecia symptoms, the main and often the only symptom of alopecia is hair loss. Of course, you may notice small patches on your scalp or other parts of your body. Patches may get larger and grow together in a bald spot. Hair grows back in one spot and falls out in another. You lose a lot of hair over a short time. More loss in cold weather. Fingernails and toenails become red, brittle, blah. Okay. Yeah. Um Alopecia causes and risk factors. Of course, when you have an autoimmune disease, your immune system attacks your body. When with alopecia or areata, it's the hair follicles that are attacked. Doctors don't know why it happens, but they think people who get it have something in their genes that makes it more likely. There's something happens to trigger their hair loss. Of course, this is you're more likely to get alopecia areata if you have a family member who has it, asthma, Down syndrome, pernicious um, anemia, seasonal allergies, thyroid disease, and um, vitiligo. Wow. Alopecia diagnosis. If you think you have alopecia areata, you may want to see a skin specialist called a dermatologist. They will talk to you about your symptoms, take a close look at the areas where you have hair loss. Pull gently on the hairs at the edges of the bald patch to see if they come out easily. Check individual hairs and follicles to see if they are abnormally shaped. Examine your nails. Rarely you have a biopsy, which means a small piece of skin is removed from your scalp and looked under a microscope. Many conditions can cause hair loss, so your doctor may test your skin for a fungal infection or give you blood tests to check your for thyroid hormone or immune system problems. Of course, there's a treatment for this. Alopecia areata can't be cured, but it can be treated and hair can grow back if you have it. There are several things to try. Um, oh boy, corti, um, uh, corticosteroids. These are anti-inflammatory drugs that are prescribed for autoimmune diseases. They can be given as an injection into the scalp or other areas. They can be also as a pill or rubbed on the skin as an ointment, cream, or foam. The downside is that it may take a long time to work. Topical Im- immunotherapy. This is used when there's a lot of hair loss or if it happens more than once. Chemicals are applied to the scalp to produce an allergic reaction if it works. This reaction is actually what makes the hair grow back. It also causes an itchy rash and usually has to be repeated several times to keep the new hair growth. Um, Minoxidil, which is Rogaine. This treatment, which is put on the scalp, is already used for pattern baldness. It usually takes about 12 weeks before you see growth, and some users are disappointed in the results. Of course, you can read more about which types of alopecia are most likely to respond in um, min- minoxidil. Other treatments for alopecia areata include medications that are sometimes used for other autoimmune disorders. These medicines are differing amounts of success in regrowing hair. Of course, there is alopecia home care. Apart from medications, there are other things you can try if you have alopecia areata. Wear wigs, hats, or scarves. They cover your hair loss and will protect your head from the sun. Reduce stress. Personal troubles seem to trigger alopecia areata. Excuse me, areata. Although this has not been proven scientifically. Um, Telogen F effluv, F, effluvium, another form of hair loss, all can also be triggered by stress. Of course, you can learn more about the signs and symptoms of telogen um, effluvium. Alopecia outlook. Alopecia areata isn't usually a serious medical condition, but it can cause a lot of anxiety and sadness. Support groups are out there to help you deal with the psychological effects of the condition. If you lose all your hair, it could grow back. If it doesn't, there's different ways to cover your hair loss and protect your scalp. If you notice sudden hair loss, always check with a doctor. There can be other reasons for it besides alopecia areata. So there you go, right there. The breakdown of what alopecia areata is. I figured it was important to actually break this down. Actually, so it is what. So there you go, right there. Um, yeah, I'm not gonna. I don't know if I'm gonna stay on this for too long. Wait, hold on. Let me continue where I left off, though. Let me continue where I left off. Yeah. Um. So. Um. Yeah. So. Yeah. So Ye said that while Jada's relationship with Alcina happened during a break in the union with Will, and he allegedly knew all about it, he may have felt under pressure to prove himself by defending his wife. She explained, "I see a lot of people who are married who side with Will. Maybe Will was under pressure from Jada to prove his manhood as well. I see a lot of women supporting what Will did, and I see a lot of husbands supporting him. But I also see a lot of comedians supporting Chris Rock, which includes fucking Bill Maher out of all fucking people. I got a lot to say on that shit too, man. And that shit is not cute, man. I got a lot to say on that shit, man. So hold that thought, man. Before I even get to all this, I'm gonna continue. Um, all right. Yes. At the Oscars, at this year's Oscars, Rock made a joke about Pickett's bald head. She has been open about her battle with alopecia. Will initially laughed at Rock's joke and Jada rolled her eyes. The camera panned back to Rock on stage, and Oscar Insider said what viewers didn't see is the look Jada then gave Will. One Oscar Insider said Will was laughing at the G.I. Jane joke, then Jada gave him a look that particularly ripped him a new asshole. He realized she was hurt. After hitting Rock, Smith won the Best Actor award for his role as the father of Venus and Serena Williams and King Richard. He made a tearful speech where he apologized to everyone except Rock. The insider continued using the words of Richard Williams to justify his own violence. Then you go out to the Vanity Fair party, celebrate and rap to your own songs with no limit. No, excuse me, with no hint of regret about the assault. That's a man who has problems, a sociopath. I don't think I agree with that statement. He and Jada were inseparable all night, holding hands after the notorious slap in the Dolby Theater, which was a slap, by the way, man. You um um and later dancing at the Vanity Fair bash with their kids. Um, of course, a lot of people, including, of course, comedian Donald Rollins, a close friend of Rock, said Smith likely has a beef with the comic that stretches back for years. Rock has used other more extensive material about Will and Jada during appearances at comedy clubs. Of course, of Rock's joke about Jada at the 2016 Oscars, Rollins said, "It's my understanding that it was something going on with Chris and Will before or during the Oscars so white boycott in 2016." So it's like, how much can you push a person? It's like, okay, we did it in 2016. We Yes, we could have handled it off the mic, but you choose the biggest moment in entertainment to come at me again. As Rock told his G.I. Jane joke about Jada, Dono believes Smith's reaction was based on his marriage. In that moment when Will was laughing and Jada was rolling her eyes, you have to realize people hit Will Smith so hard about his relationship with Jada. You always got to understand the camera is always on you, so smile. And probably on the inside, something is saying something different, but it wasn't until she reacted excuse me, that he was triggered. Chris was sharp enough to get the shit smacked out of him, and everybody thought it was a sketch, which was not, by the way. And I'll explain why in a couple of seconds. But when Will said, "Keep my wife's name out of your fucking mouth," every black person knows that it's fighting words. It was a build up. It was like, "Don't push me. Don't push me because I'm close to the edge. I'm trying to not lose my head," which was a lyric that you hear from rap, particular rap songs. I'm not even going to go into that. Darnell continued of the slap. It was one of the most gangster moments to watch, and it turned out to be one of the worst moments in Oscar history. But not for everyone. The ride home between Jada and Will was probably a great for both of them. Darnell says, "There's no better sex than you have when you defended your woman's honor." Okay. Now, he did apologize actually, so I'm going to get to that. He did apologize actually, so I'm going to actually get to it. Um yeah, he did apologize actually, so I'm going to actually get to that right now. Um so basically, all right. So Jada Pinkett Smith is speaking out 2 days after Will's husband Will Smith struck Chris Rock on stage at the 94th Annual Academy Awards on Sunday. The actress posted a message on her Instagram that read, "This is a season for healing, and I'm here for it." Jada's statement comes after Will, age 53, issued an apology of his own on Monday, writing, "Violence in all of its forms is poisonous and destructive. My behavior at last night's Academy Awards was unacceptable and inexcusable. Jokes at my expense are a part of the job, but a joke about Jada's medical condition was too much for me to bear, and I reacted emotionally." Now that's what you call a chain reaction. That's what you call a chain reaction, though. I would like to publicly apologize to you, Chris. The King Richard after continued. "I was out of line and I was wrong. I am embarrassed. And my actions were not indicative of the man I want to be. There is no place for violence in a world of love and kindness. Um, I will also I would also like to apologize to the Academy, the producers of the show, all the attendees, and everyone watching around the world. I would like to apologize to the Williams family and my King Richard family. I deeply regret that my behavior has stained what has been an otherwise gorgeous journey for all of us, Smith concluded. The incident occurred Sunday night after the comedian age 57 made a joke about Jada's hair, saying in part, Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see you. The remark referenced Demi Moore's shaved head in the movie G.I. Jane. Jada recently opened up about her bald head, revealing it was a result of living with alopecia for years. The Girls Trip actress was visibly unamused by the joke, rolling her eyes from her seat. Seconds later, Will walked on stage and approached Rock, hitting him in front of the audience and millions watching at home. Back at the table, Will shouted to a stunned Rock, keep my wife's name out of your fucking mouth, then remained seated with Jada at his table for the rest of the night. When Will won the Best Actor later in the ceremony, he apologized to the Academy and his fellow nominees, but did not mention Rock at the time. In his tearful speech, he spoke about acting out of love and protection, saying, love makes you do crazy things. Rock has not yet spoken out since the incident and declined to press charges. Will, Jada, and their family celebrated with his Oscar win at an after party Sunday night, dancing and posing with the statuette. Of course, on Monday afternoon, the Academy said in a statement the Academy condemns the actions of Mr. Smith at last night's show. We have officially started a formal review around the incident and will explore further action and consequences in accordance with our bylaws, standards of conduct, and California law. Yeah. Let me see. What the hell? Hold on a second. Let's see. Now I'm trying to look for the apology where he wanted to yeah, hold on a second, man. I'm trying to look for it was another one that it was another apology that he did. It was another one that he did. It was another one that he did. It was another one that he did. I'm gonna look for that statement that he did. It's another one. It's another one that he did. I forget which one. Hold on. He hold on a second. Wait a second. It was another one that he did. It was another. Okay, here we go. I want to apologize to the Academy. I want to apologize to my fellow nominees. This is a beautiful moment, and I'm not crying. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Um, yeah, this is a beautiful moment, and I'm not crying for winning an award. It's not about winning an award for me. It's about being able to shine a light on all of the people. Um, Tim and Trevor and Zach and Senia and Demi and Anju, Anjanu and the entire cast of, and crew of King Richard, Venus, and Serena, the entire Williams family, art imitates life. I look like the crazy father, just like they said about Richard Williams Smith said. Um, so his speech continued. This is I'm being called on in my life to love people and to protect people and to be a river to my people. I know to do what we do. You got to be able to take abuse. You got to be able to have people talk crazy about you. In this business, you got to be able to have people disrespecting you, and you got to smile and you got to pretend like that's okay. Hmm. Hold on a second. There's got to be more to this. There's got to be more to this, actually, man. Hold on a second. There's got to be more to this. I know I saw it somewhere. Um. Okay. Hold on a second. To the Academy. Hang on a second here. Okay. Um. Okay. Um. Wait a second here, man. Okay, so while he was accepting his award, he said in quote while he was crying, "In this time in my life, in this moment, I am overwhelmed by what God is calling me to do and be in this world." He added, "I'm being called on in my life to love people and to protect people and to be a river to my people. I know to do what we do, you've got to be able to take abuse. You've got to be able to have people talk crazy about you in this business. You've got to be able to have people disrespecting you, and you've got to smile and pretend like that's okay. Um, I want to apologize to the Academy. I want to apologize to all my fellow nominees. This is a beautiful moment, and I'm not crying for winning an award. It's not about winning an award for me. It's about being able to shine a light on all the people, all of the people. Art imitates life. I look like the crazy father, just like they said about Richard Williams. But love will make you do crazy things. Um, After paying tribute to his mother and his family, he added, "Thank you for this honor. Thank you for thank you for this moment. I hope the Academy invites me back." Hmm. All right. All right. A couple of things that I want to say about this, though.
Before I go into the Kanye West thing, let me just see how much time I have here. Hold on. All right. Okay. A couple of things that I want to say about this actually. So earlier I actually was interacting with a streamer on the Pokecha app regarding about the situation with Will Smith slapping um Chris Rock. When I saw the video, believe it or not, I don't think it was fake, man. It's just not something. This is not something you could just fake. You know what I'm saying? You know what I took from that is that Will Smith was being human. And as I said about what really went down in the whole 2016 the 2016 thing, Chris Rock said about the bad movie that he did Wild Wild West and the whole thing with Jada Pinkett Smith boycotting the awards is like it's like you know boycotting Rihanna's panties, which is kind of crazy and stupid for Chris Rock to say. Now, I'm not condoning any violence here. What I'm saying is this. And it's crazy how certain people, especially Bill Maher, out of all people, out of all people who say that he even said it on TMZ Live that kind of really bothered me actually though, man. To say that to say that it's based on aging and you had no idea about alopecia. His ass should have done his fucking research, man. He should have done his research about it instead of being an ignorant asshole about it while promoting his podcast. You know what I'm saying? I think I think you have to differentiate the difference between a funny joke versus a bad joke. And it's not about being it's not about being sensitive to jokes and it's not about somebody not being able to take a joke. It's not about that. It's about a person that was going it's about a person like Will Smith that was going through something and something triggered him. And I think a lot of people forget that when he released his book in the book that he explained that he felt like a coward because he couldn't um he couldn't do anything to actually, save his mom while his dad abused the shit out of his mom through domestic violence. You see where I'm coming from with all this? Another point that I want to actually bring up is the fact that Chris Rock, out of all people, made the documentary Good Hair because it was dedicated to his fucking daughter. You know what I'm saying? And his daughter was like, why don't I have good hair? I'm pretty sure you guys probably remember the documentary movie Good Hair, and I'm pretty sure you guys probably heard about it and saw it already. So I'm not even gonna get into that. I'll probably review that shit probably on my other show. So anyway, um, anyway, so basically what I'm saying is this: just because you are a comedian doesn't necessarily mean you could get a free pass. When a comedian gets a free pass and getting away with something very insulting to a person that's going through a medical condition called alopecia. That I just explained what the disease is about, though. You know what I'm saying? It indicates that you're just being ignorant, that you don't know what a person is going through. on the inside. I mean, losing good hair can lose a person's confidence in themselves. You know what I'm saying? How they look. You know, everybody believes in beauty. And some might say beauty is the eye of the beholder. That part might be true. But losing hair can really take a toll out of a person mentally, physically, and spiritually. So, like I said before, you have to differentiate the difference between a good joke, a good funny joke versus a bad joke. And that G.I. Jane shit that he just said in reference to Jada Pinkett Smith was a fucking bad joke. Mind you, as I see the video, it's not something you could just fake, man. This is like a chain reaction to what Will Smith did. Now, as I'm saying before, like the reason why everybody's siding with Will Smith is because he's a human being, and you can't just pretend that what you can't just pretend and try to sugarcoat and cover up the bad joke that you just did. And then you want to try to fucking use it for your comedy sketch too. That's also ignorant too, man. I'm sorry, but you can't expect to get a free pass on a bad joke, man. I'm sorry. That's just whack what Chris Rock did. That's whack. I'm sorry. But I know many of you out there probably, care about your good hair, which is important to your identity of who you are as a person. You know what I mean? And that's pretty much my take on how I feel about this. Now, I know a lot of people are basically saying that this was like a right or wrong situation. It's not about right and wrong, it's about being human. It's about being human. You know what I'm saying? It's about being human. And like I said, man, this was kind of corny and whack at the same fucking damn time, man. All right. I want y'all to learn something and be able to learn that just because you make jokes about a person, whether it's a person who has a disability, a mental health, or whatever case scenario may be, does not mean that comedians are invincible to the backlash and the consequences. You gotta understand what a person is going through. You know what I mean? And I'm just saying, man, I'm just saying. This is just, and I hope things work out. And yeah, that's my take on it though, man. And yeah. So to basically answer your question, I'm on the side of being a human being. You know what I'm saying? Being a human being is not about pretending and taking insults, even if you're in a business or whatever case scenario may be, whether it's through acting, movies, whatever case scenario may be. But at the same time, just because you're a good comedian doesn't mean you can be a jerk by mentioning a person's medical condition. And the Bill Maher to actually say that is based on aging. First of all, you have no fucking idea, and you said it on TMZ Live talking about that you didn't know what alopecia was. How about you do your damn fucking research and stop acting like you're a fucking savior to everybody? You're not a fucking god, all right? I'm done with this shit. And speaking of crazy, crazy news, can't wait to actually talk about this Kanye West thing, man. I say this for most part though, man. You know what I mean? Let me get to the Kanye West thing. So Kanye West, this is DL Hughley. Why in the hell did he do this? Oh my gosh. I'm going to actually fill you in on why he did it. And this is just ridiculous, man. This is ridiculous, man. Hang on a second. Let me take a sip of water. Stay with me. Oh my God, what is going on with this? What is going on with this shit? Okay, here we go. So Kanye West, the crazy asshole, takes a dig at comedian DL Hughley, who in a recent interview with Vlad TV commented on his and Kim Kardashian's messy divorce tussle. And the rapper consistently tries to bring back his family together amidst voicing his controversial opinions on social media about their personal life and openly hating on Kim's new bae, Pete Davidson, aka Pistol Pete. In his interview, Hughley branded Kanye's recent behavior as stalker-ish and added that if Kim were his daughter, he would do something about it. The comedian also imparted advice to the Donda rapper and said, if you want your family back, stop doing the shit you did. You did that made her leave. In Kanye's new post on Instagram, the rapper uploaded a video of Hughley from 2020 when he passed out on stage while doing his set as he suffered from COVID-19. Okay, that's just below the fucking belt, man. The Yeezy founder wrote, we gonna stop letting practicing drug addicts be used by leftists to Willie Lynch our future black people with our own opinion are not allowed to speak in public. I am the glitch, DL. Kanye went on and degraded Hughley as he penned hateful curses at the comedian. God does not like you. You have no favor. Your family hates you. Your family hates you. I would hate to be related to somebody who used to be famous. Now you just known as a broke pawn. However, Hughley was not the only one in Kanye's hit list, as he called out Charlamagne the God, the co-host of the radio show The Breakfast Club, and asked him to show his real face. The West brought SNL star Pete Davidson in the mess, as he wrote, "You see, Skeet, missing work. Anybody else want to play with me? Please, 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 for the love of God, come and get me. Let's see how it turns out.
In his following post, Kanye posted a screen grab of Hughley's whereabouts as he shared, "What DL lives in Calabasas? Yo, God is good." Yo, this dude is a fucking ass. He's a fucking asshole for that one right there, man. He's a fucking asshole for this shit. And the clapback begins with DL Hughley. DL Hughley has issued a public response to the latest remarks from the artist formerly known as Kanye West, who told his nearly 16 million Instagram followers on Wednesday that he used to defend the comedian back when he had work. As IG refreshing fans will note, Wednesday morning saw Ye share a pair of posts directed at Hughley, who the Donda and Donda 2 artists previously told, "I can afford to hurt you," when responding to comments made about him and Kim Kardashian during a recent DJ Vlad interview. This grown ass man picked this outfit out himself. Is he influential or under the influence? Ye said in the first Hughley centered post on Wednesday. In another post, Ye shared a screenshot of a Hughley feature on the Wendy Williams show from June of last year, including the aforementioned defense claims in the caption. Funny thing is, we'll probably end up being friends. I used to defend this nigga back when he had work. Like, nah, he funny. He funny. You just gotta watch it 1 trillion more times to get it, Ye said. Hours later, Hughley shared multiple tweets directed at Ye, again going the route of mocking mental health. When you say you had to explain my jokes to people, are these real people or the ones you keep in your head? The former DL Hughley breaks the news host said in one tweet. In follow-ups, he mentioned the Kardashian family. Do you know how horrible you gotta be to make a Kardashian date a white man? And Peter. He also defended his style choices by advocating for the use of a Macy's card. Davidson was also mentioned this past weekend amid Hughley's response to Ye's aforementioned "I can afford to hurt you" threat with the original Kings of Comedy star, telling fans, "It's just too bad that you acting like a nut won't stop Pete from busting one." The larger Ye and Kim and Pete controversy, meanwhile, was the subject of an extended Daily Show segment this week, during which host Trevor Noah shared a personal and cautionary take. Yeah, maybe I could actually go there too. I'm gonna go there. Yeah. Amid continued coverage of the artist formerly known as Kanye West, social media remarks directed at Kim Kardashian and Pete Davidson, among others, Daily Show host Trevor Noah has shared a nearly 10-minute video detailing his wish for society at large to change how they are interacting with the ongoing story. On Tuesday's episode of the long-running comedy series, Noah first spoke generally about how certain celebrity-focused stories end up having the ability to transcend everything and start speaking to larger discussions on issues that more directly impact everyday people. The Ye, Kim, and Pete developments collectively are entering that realm, Noah argued. While public instances of Ye stating that he once came back could have been seen as romantic, Nora argued that the situation has since turned more and more belligerent, with the comedian pointing to the Easy video as one of the most extreme examples of this. From there, Noah addressed Ye's explanation at that art is therapy, ultimately bringing in a mention of Eminem. What's weird about the situation is Kanye West has told us that he struggles with his mental health. Noah said around the 221 mark, so I get it. You want to have art as therapy. But here's what's weird that Kanye doesn't understand. It it's like we're seeing is it makes you uncomfortable, man. Here's the thing. Eminem was Eminem from the beginning. I'm gonna kill my ex-wife, but it was his his shtick, and we knew it was his shtick. Um, he wasn't that person. With Kanye, we don't know how to feel. We don't know how to worry, and I think Kanye doesn't seem to understand that. He goes, "Well, leave me to create my art." Yay, yeah, but Kanye, you told us you have problems. Now, when we worry about that, you say we shouldn't worry because it's not problems, or is it problems? Which is it? Noah continues saying this facet of the story puts society into a precarious position. He also addressed the recent release text between Davidson and Ye, notably extending the criticism to the SNL actor for his approach during the exchange. Of course, Ye early Wednesday, Ye included a screenshot of Noah amid a series of IG updates captioning the post with a malicious reworking of Kumbaya lyrics. In his other uploads, Ye referenced Davidson multiple times and highlighted an old joke from a Netflix stand-up special saying Pete gotta stay away from my children. He also wrote that he's really concerned that Skeet will get my kid's mom hooked on drugs. He's in rehab every 2 months. Huh, brother. Elsewhere on the Daily Show episode, Noah explained that he understands why much of society is treating these stories lightly, and that there are parts of Ye's remarks with which he can relate, namely the Don the Two artist comments about TikTok. Noah also briefly reflected on his experience of growing up in an abusive household, including the moment he learned his stepfather had shot his mother. The point is Kim Kardashian and countless other women, they find themselves in a terrible position, Noah said around the 611 mark in the video above, because because asking Kanye to stop clearly isn't helping, but at the same time he hasn't broken any laws, so can she get him arrested? No, I don't think so. Would she even want to? I, I mean, she spends half her time helping black people come out of jail, so now she can't throw Kanye West in. That's a bit of a paradox, but still she's being harassed. See, okay, see more from Noah up top, including a reflection um, on the moment early in life when he realized we live in a world where women are questioned for what is happening to them, as opposed to um, people questioning what is happening to them. All right. Um, by the way, I think by the way, Kanye West wasn't wasn't really invited to the Grammys to well yeah, he wasn't invited to the Grammys or the Oscars or whatever. But let me just look for that story right there. Um, hold on a second. Hold on. Hold on a minute here. Hold on a second. Um, Kanye West um suspended on Instagram and not invited to the Grammys. Yeah. So let's see. So Trevor Noah weighs in on Kanye West's Grammys and Instagram bans counsel, not cancel. I said cancel Kanye, not cancel Kanye, the Daily Show host wrote on Twitter Sunday morning. Trevor Noah has more to say about Kanye West. Shortly after the rapper, age 44, was banned for 24 hours from Instagram and then removed from a lineup of Grammy Awards performers at this year's ceremony, the comedian, age 38, re entered the conversation on social media. I said cancel Kanye, not cancel Kanye. The Grammys host wrote on Twitter Sunday morning. The most recent instance of West's social media activity was a racial slur left on Noah's Instagram page, according to TMZ. West took aim at the Daily Show star after he commented at length on the Donda artist split from ex-wife Kim Kardashian and how the rapper has treated her amid their divorce. In his initial remarks, which aired Tuesday night, Noah said over time Kanye has become more and more belligerent in how he tries to get Kim back. While he acknowledged that when it started, it was some would say romantic, Noah then brought up several more recent examples he described as troublesome, as such as West's music video for Easy, in which a claymation likeness of Pete Davidson, Kardashian's current boyfriend, was buried alive. The Comedy Central host added of the escalating situation, there's an element of a woman saying to her ex, "Hey, please leave her alone." It touches on something that is more sensitive and more serious than people would like to admit, Noah said. I see a woman who wants to live her life without being harassed by an ex boyfriend or ex husband or an ex anything. You may not feel sorry for Kim because she's rich and famous, he shared. But what she's going through is terrifying to watch, and it shines a spotlight on what so many women go through when they choose to leave toxic relationships. Noah added, "What we're seeing here is one of the most powerful, one of the richest women in the world, unable to get her ex to stop texting her, to stop chasing after her, to stop harassing her." Days after West banned from Instagram, the stronger musician was then prohibited from performing at next month's Grammy Awards. His rep previously confirmed to People the decision to prevent West from taking the stage at the award shows was due to his concerning online behavior. According to the Blast, which was first to report the news, West's latest online antics involving Noah were a factor in the decision-making process. West is nominated for 5 Grammys this year, 4 of which are for his work on his 10th studio album, Donda. West is also nominated for Album of the Year as a producer for Lil Nas X's debut album, Montero. Trevor will host the 64th Annual Grammy Awards on Sunday, April 3rd on CBS. Yeah. Okay. Now, before I even go to, hold on a second. Before I go to Steve Harvey, let me just say this though, man.
Kanye brought this shit on himself, man. You know what I'm saying? And I say that because of his narcissistic ways. I know people are basically going to use his mental health and the passing of his mom as an excuse, but in this instance, as I said earlier in the whole thing about free speech not being free, it's basically because by you're not protected by the First Amendment if you're basically threatening and harassing and all that other stuff. You're not going to be protected by the First Amendment, and that's just a fact right here. Like this is some fucking, and then the whole crazy. And I'm glad I didn't see that easy video, man. This is some fucking petty shit that he's doing. The guy is fucking petty, man. And I'm not gonna stay too long on this shit though, man. And I'm actually glad that he's not coming to the Grammys because number one, like this whole thing, this whole thing about this whole thing with Harvey Levin saying that it's ridiculous that Kanye West is being not going to be at the Grammys is taking free speech. Look, you have to differentiate the difference between free speech and trying to do harm to other people. There's a big difference. And like I said about Bill Maher earlier, man, the one that's sticking up for fucking Chris Rock for that fucking G.I. Jane joke, which is not funny right now. Now, you defend somebody for saying harmful things, and when you take a side of a person, you're basically defending the person's behavior and the way they are acting, which means you're gonna be part of the problem, not the solution. So, and by the way, ain't nobody paying $300 for no fucking Donda 2 album, man. I'm sorry, but that ain't gonna happen, man. I'm sorry, man. And then to make a fucking STEM player, like, hell no, I'm not gonna listen to that shit, man. Now after all that crazy shit you've done. And on top of that, you listen, man. I'm just going to actually. I'm gonna and I don't know why you wasting your time being butthurt over fucking your ex anyway, man. And I don't know why you picking on comedians like DL Hughley, and then you want to involve Steve Harvey into this shit. I'm gonna talk about that in a moment. Nah, man. You're already falling flat on your fucking face, and you're fucking 44 years old, and you're already being a fucking bully. No wonder your ass is so fucking butthurt. You want so much attention so badly. That's not the move, man. Your ass is so butthurt. It's not even funny anymore, man. And you wonder why your ass is falling flat on your face right now with all this bullshit. I use these sound effects because I have to prove a point, man. You know what I mean? And I don't know, man. And I look, the way his career is going right now, I gotta say it's game over, man. Speaking of game over, let's get into Steve Harvey. getting involved in this mess. So comedian Steve Harvey is stepping into the back and forth between Kanye West and fellow comic DL Hughley, warning Ye to essentially back off. During an episode of the Steve Harvey Morning Show on Tuesday, March 15th, the veteran funny man defended Hughley. Steve's opinion on the matter arrives after Kanye uploaded a series of Instagram posts coming for Hughley, following an interview done with DJ Vlad that also resulted in insult-laced tweets towards Ye from Hughley. And he said, "Pull up. It ain't what you want." Steve Harvey began on his syndicated radio morning show. If y'all do get the scrapping, all my cash on DL, cause you have no idea. You've been a little politically, socially conscious rapper. We from an ass whooping era. we we from a whole nother era. Harvey is 65 years old, while Hughley is 59, and Kanye is age 44. After DL Hughley said in the Vlad interview last month that Kanye West is stalking his now ex-wife, Kim Kardashian, the two men engulfed themselves in a war of words, with Kanye threatening to have Hughley harmed as he can afford to hurt him, and Hughley, in turn, making light of the rapper's mental health. Well, you can't use mental health as an excuse to make threats, man. Steve Harvey continued to DL Hughley's defense following a day after Kanye West was suspended from Instagram for 24 hours for violating the platform's policies on bullying, harassment, and hate speech. I'm glad the people on Instagram actually did this, man. I'm glad they did this, man. I'm glad they did it. Reports claim that Yeezy's Instagram post about Kim Kardashian and her new boyfriend, Saturday Night Live comedian Pete Davidson, aka Pistol Pete, comic and writer Dave Cyrus, and Trevor Noah are what led to Meta, formerly Facebook, which owns Instagram, laying down the law on Kanye's IG account. So yeah. And this is yeah. So yeah, I actually agree with the whole thing with Kanye West being off of Instagram for all this craziness that's going on. So, you know what I mean? And I'm actually glad the Grammys Academy actually decided to pull that off, because you don't want to send a bad message to the people, not just watching, but the nominees who's actually being nominated for their craft. So that's a good look on them now. So as for Kanye West's career, I don't know, man. That shit is about to be down the drain, man. I'm sorry, man. His ass is crazy, man. I'm sorry, man. Oh man. Man, listen. All right, man. Okay. So let me go to is there any other? All right. So Freddie Gibbs. Okay, fans who thought Freddie Gibbs' upcoming album, Triple S, would be the highlight of his year, having been paying attention to his budding acting career. The ESGN rapper has been making major moves in the world of TV in recent months, and now he's added another feature to his cap thanks to 50 Cent's Power Universe. On Sunday, March 13th, Gangsta Gibbs. Oh shit. Oh man. Gangsta Gibbs. Hold on. This is fucking laughable right here, man. Yeah. Oh man, Gangsta Gibbs in the trailer for the next episode of Power Book 4 Force outrunning a ghost. This 30-second spot shows the Alfredo MC dapping up Jannard Sampson, played by Chris D. Lofton, the smart yet wild leader of the Chicago Brothers Incorporated crime family. According to the official synopsis, Gibbs plays a character named Buddy, a crazy and unpredictable hustler who's established himself as the drug kingpin in the nearby Gary, Indiana, Gibbs' real life hometown. Let's fucking go. Power Force, he tweeted along with the trailer for Outrunning a Ghost, which premieres on Sunday, March 20th. As fans flooded his Twitter mentions to share their excitement for his upcoming Power Book 4 Force role. Freddie Gibbs took a moment to salute Power co-creator and fellow rapper actor 50 Cent. And he said, "Much love to 50 Cent, the GOAT," he tweeted. Power Book 4 Force is just the latest television gig Freddie Gibbs has landed in 2022 following Peacock's new comedy series Bust Down, which premiered on March 10th. Created and starring Langston Kerman, SNL's Chris Redd, Jack Knight, and Sam J. The show follows 4 lowly casino employees in Gary, Indiana, whose various schemes and bad ideas inevitably led to debauchery and hilarity. Gibbs' natural funny man qualities shine through in his role as Chauncey, the casino straight talking manager, as seen in various clips he shared on social media. Gibbs' bust down role has even earned the approval of his Power Book 4 Force co-star Joseph Sikora, aka Tommy Egan. So good. Sikora tweeted in response to a scene in which Gibbs' character deals with a male-on-male workplace sexual harassment complaint in hilariously inappropriate fashion. Yeah, let's make some noise for Freddie Gibbs for getting the role in Power Book 4 Force. Yeah, that has to be a round of applause. Yeah, now let me get to the I want to get to the gas prices actually. So let me just go there. I didn't get a chance to talk about that. So let me just go to the gas prices situation. So Uber drivers take to New York City streets to demand relief from soaring gas prices. New York City Uber drivers on Tuesday caravaned across the Brooklyn Bridge up to the company's headquarters on Manhattan's west side and back down to the World Trade Center to demand relief from soaring gas prices. The national average for a gallon of gas, the The national average for a gallon of gas was $4.24. On Tuesday, a nearly 50% spike compared to a year ago and 17% higher than last month, according to AAA. Before I used to fill up my tank for $50. Now it's $70. Said protesting hack Wassim Maya. It's very hard for drivers. It's not even worth it to work more because you are using more gas. Protesting for hire drivers told the Post they have given up on help from the city and hope Uber itself will step up and provide them relief. They want the company to charge New York customers a fuel surcharge and to lower the commission the company collects from tips. Now, let me look up this fuel surcharge thing and maybe break it down for all the drivers out there that may not know what that is. So I got y'all. So I'm gonna fill you guys in. And so yeah. So we're looking for fuel surcharge. Let's look at what it is actually. Okay. Now, so the fuel surcharge is the total cost for fuel usage. It is a contract between the shipper and another party that sets a standard rate for the fuel and how much will be paid above the base rate, and what fuel price triggers the surcharge or no surcharge at all. So there you go. So what does that mean? So a fuel surcharge is a fee assessed by a carrier to account for regional seasonal variations in fuel costs. A fuel surcharge is most often seen in trucking, but an ocean or air carrier may also assess a fuel surcharge. A fuel surcharge helps protect the carrier from the volatility of fuel prices. There you go. So there you go right there. With the so there you go right there with the issue right there. So all right. All right, so there you go right there, fuel surcharge and stuff. Okay, so drivers said Uber and its Lyft and its competitor Lyft have done little to offset increased gas prices, which they said are eating into their bottom line. In a usual day, when you book $200, you take $100. Today, you are taking $50 or $60 because all the money is going into buying gas, said Jahan Jur, age 40. Jur and others said the city could do more, but hasn't so far sat on its hands. We think the city don't regulate Uber the way it's supposed to. Uber is taking too much money from us. They are charging the passengers crazy money, but it doesn't come down to us, said driver Josio Andujar, age 37. The mayor and the city council can do more. They are just playing around with the issue. This is no joke for us. It's hitting us hard in our pockets. The caravan drove over the Brooklyn Bridge to West 28th Street and back to Lower Manhattan with signs bearing slogans like "Need money for gas" and "At workers deserve a living wage." Now, as you see in the pitch, as I'm looking at the picture, this is a Shell gas station. The national average for a gallon of gas was $4.24 on Tuesday. Drivers deserve safety, need money for gas, all this other shit. Wow. Oh boy. Okay. Of course, I have a wife and 6 kids. Inflation is so high. I'm feeling the squeeze, said Pedro Acosta, age 54. Our money is going nowhere because of the gas prices. We need some increase. The City Taxi and Limousine Commission said in a statement that it is exploring options to help drivers. TLC is always interested in ways to support drivers, especially in this current challenging environment, said TLC Acting Commissioner Ryan Wantaja. We are reviewing calls for a fuel surcharge, and we look forward to having conversations with drivers and industry stakeholders. Okay. Let's hope they do look for that. Actually, this is just let me just go to. Is there another topic that I need to cover? Let's take a look at oh yeah, Rod Wave. So, Rod Wave announces free gas giveaway in Florida hometown. So this is from St. Petersburg, Florida. This is from Hip Hop DX. I'm looking at. With gas prices soaring across the United States, Rod Wave wants to do his part to provide some gas relief to those living in his hometown. The Heart on Ice crooner took to Instagram on Monday, March 28th, which was yesterday, to announce a free gas giveaway to drivers in St. Petersburg, Florida at the Sunoco on 34th Street on April 9th at noon. Gas high as fuck, he proclaimed. St. Petersburg, Florida, St. Pete 727, giving away free gas April 9th at the Sunoco on 34th, right before you get on the bridge. April 9th, I'm giving away $25,000 in free gas. So April 9th, 12 o'clock, pull up and get you a free full tank. Wow. This is actually an awesome idea. Man. Let's make some noise for this shit. And a little bit of this. Yeah. All right. The free gas drive idea was seemingly inspired by Rod Waves' Bentley, costing him $100 to fill up. Yeah, that's crazy, man. Which inspired him to give back to the community that raised him. Rod Wave isn't the only rapper not feeling the rise in gas prices. Ice-T posted a hilarious tweet last week where he details being robbed by a gas pump in a bizarre plot twist. Oh shit. And he's like, I'm robbed at a gas station in New Jersey last night, he wrote. After my hands stopped trembling, I managed to call the cops, and they were quick to respond and calm me down. My money is gone. Wow. On the music side, Rod Wave is still keeping busy. He teased a collaboration with Future that's expected to land on his next album, and look for the Florida native to appear on DJ Khaled's upcoming LP as well. Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing what he's doing though, man. That's really amazing. That's really amazing what he's doing though, man. And I have to really say this is awesome, man. This is awesome. Yeah, all right. Now hold on a second. Let me see if I covered every topic so I don't miss anything. Give me one moment, folks. Give me one moment. One moment. Hold on a sec. Okay. All right. Okay, I talked about that. Fulton Street stabbing. Okay. Okay, we can talk about the Batman. We can talk about the Batman actually. Yeah, we can talk about the Batman. Hold on a second. Let me just set this up. So, of course, may not know, the Batman has been number one in the box office for over 3 to 4 weeks. And this is basically and this is another segment that I like to call Movie Man Cave Popcorn. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. I had to get the funny sounds of, Homer Simpson, eating. So funny. Like, it's crazy though, man. But anyway, man, let's get to the Batman. All right. So Robert Pattinson's gritty superhero adventure, The Batman, is the number one movie at the domestic box office for the third weekend in a row. Wow. That feat is not surprising because March has been relatively light in terms of new releases. But even though there hasn't been much competition, the Batman has managed impressive week to week holds. The movie collected 36.8 million dollars from 4,302 theaters between Friday and Sunday, 45% decline from last weekend. Those ticket sales pushed the Batman past 300 million in North America, making the comic book adaptation only the second pandemic era, aka slandemic era movie to cross that benchmark. Two new movies open nationwide, but Funimation's manga adaptation, Juju Jujitsu, Jujitsu Kaisen Zero, the movie, and A24 slasher thriller X did not pose a threat to the Batman. Second place on domestic box office charts, the PG-13 Jujitsu Kaisen Zero scored an impressive $17.6 million from 2,340 locations in its debut. Anime films have been increasingly popular in North America, and Funimation, which recently rebranded as Crunchyroll, Crunchyroll. Wow. Crunchyroll. Wow. I'm gonna read. Yeah, Crunchyroll, and is mostly owned by Sony Pictures, has been at the forefront. Last spring, the film company opened Demon Slayer, the movie Mugen Train, to $21.2 million. A huge result at the time when cinemas were operating at reduced capacity. This is a terrific opening, says David A. Gross, who runs the movie consulting film franchise entertainment research. Reviews are exceptional for this and for all of Funimation Crunchyroll movies. They have not missed. X landed in fourth place with 4.2 million from 2,865 venues. Acquirers start giving the loud praise after its South by Southwest premiere. However, Gross points out horror is not expensive to make. Clever cinematography, editing, and sound design go a very long way. X should recover its course and make a few dollars after all ancillary money is counted. Ty West wrote and directed X, which follows actors making an adult film in rural Texas. But once their reclusive hosts and elderly couples catches the guests in the act, and things get messy. Variety chief film critic Owen Gleiberman promises that X will earn you fear. He calls the movie a deliberate, loving, and meticulous homage that isn't simply trying to cash in on the legacy of the greatest horror film of the last half century, to be exact. Tom Holland's video game adaptation, Uncharted, now in its fifth weekend of release, pulled ahead of X on box office charts to secure third place. The Sony Picture action adventure scored 8 million from 3,700 theaters, taking Uncharted to 125.8 million at the domestic box office. Channing Tatum's canine adventure dog took the number 5 spot, pushing Spider-Man No Way Home out of the top 5 for the first time in 14 weeks. Dog lapped up 4 million from 3,307 locations, bringing the film's North American total to $54 million. It's a great result for MGM's road trip buddy comedy, which costs only $15 million to make, and it's encouraging evidence that studios can make non-superhero movies that turn a profit as long as budgets don't get out of hand. And Spider-Man No Way Home, even after 3.5 months on the big screen, was no slouch, pulling in $3.2 million from 2,585 screens. After this weekend, the comic book epic has generated 797 point 56. That's interesting right there. Yeah, 797.56 million at the domestic box office. It's only a stone's throw from becoming the third movie in history to cross 800 million in North America, following Avengers Endgame, 858 million, and Star Wars The Force Awakens, $936 million. Okay, of course, in other Batman news, so the Batman surpasses 500 million US dollars at the global box office. After scoring the second biggest pandemic era, aka Slandemic era, opening weekend, the Batman has now gone on to surpass the 500 million US dollar milestone at the global box office. According to reports, the Warner Brothers and DC Comics film has now raked in 258.3 million USD domestically, and another 247 million USD across the globe, bringing its grand total to 505.8 million USD dollars. The Robert Pattinson starring film is Warner Brothers' biggest release since 2019's Joker, where Joaquin Phoenix's Oscar-winning portrayal of the clown prince of crime brought in $335 million USD, United States dollars, in the US alone. At its current projection, the Batman will cross that figure in the coming weeks as well, although compared to other titles in the Cape Crusaders franchise, it'll probably face difficulty catching up to both of Christopher Nolan's critically acclaimed The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises, which domestically brought in $533.7 million and $448 million respectively. The two also hit the 1 billion mark, 1 billion mark globally, and unlikely achievement for this pandemic era film, aka Slandemic era film. Okay, so there you go, right there, though, and that's gonna do it for today's episode 130. I didn't mean for this to be this long, so there you go, right there. So, you like what you heard in today's episode? Feel free to show some love by making a charitable donation to my Cashapp. Once again, it's not about breaking the bank. It's all about doing the best you can on what you are comfortable giving will be appreciated. All right, so I'm probably not going to do podcast free game of the free game mechanisms tonight. I'm probably going to do that probably next time when I record. So this is going to be hold on a second. Let me set this up. And this is stream choices on the go. Make sure you guys follow me on 17 Live at G Money Stacks, Queens, New York, alongside with this show right here on Facebook and Instagram, Off the Meat Rack Chainz New York podcast, alongside with my other shows, Excellent Fun Vibrant Podcast and Meticulous Vibe Juice Podcast, the review show. So so yeah, make sure you turn on your notifications so you can be reminded on when I'm going to be on the air. So there you go, right there. All right. Now that I got that out the way, I want to actually and by the way, man, I did add a way for the folks, you folks out there that's listening and watching on YouTube, a way for you to actually leave a voice message in order for you to actually to voice your opinions, your feedback, what you thought about the episodes, of course, you know what I'm saying, and being able to voice your opinions. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and do that. And of course, you can go to the link in bio of both of and also you can follow me on G Money Stacks 555 in Queens, New York. And to be sure that you are able to go to the link in bio. And when you go to the link in bio, it's going to have a whole list of audio streaming platforms, which includes YouTube, and a way for you to leave a voicemail so you could ask me some questions. Whether you want to be like a guest or guest co-host or whatever and stuff like that. Of course, you could DM me at gmoneystacks555 in Queens, New York, or you could go to the email, in the show's page, which is like this: off the meat rat Chainz New York podcast at gmail.com. And let me know what day you are available to actually be a guest on the show, and I will send you an invite link. So the day that I record, I will add you to live stream chat when you come into the StreamYard studio. So off the meat rat Chainz New York podcast at gmail.com. There you go. Now that I got that a way for you to actually leave a voice message and stuff like that, so you can't really miss it. When you click on that, it's going to take you to the podcast page on there, and it's going to have you see some choices. Now you're going to see the word message. You're going to click on there. You're gonna record your message on there with your iPhones or your Androids, your or even your laptop for that matter. So starting with Anchor, we are on Anchor, Audacity, we are on Audible, Audioburst, Amazon Music, Breaker, Castbox FM. We are also on Listen Notes, Moon FM. We are also on Player FM, Pocket Cast, Podbay, Podfriend, Podopolo, Podorama, Podcast Index, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Podverse, Reason FM, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Google Podcasts. Don't forget to give a 5-star rating to Podchaser, Podfriend, and Spotify. It will be appreciated. 5 stars will be appreciated. We are also on, and don't forget to listen to the New York podcast episodes on Radio Public. We are on iHeartRadio, the number 1 app for music, radio, and podcasts. Make sure you subscribe to all these audio streaming platforms with my podcast on there. Make sure you subscribe to all of them. Make sure you follow on iHeartRadio, so you get the notifications on when I'm going to drop the episodes on there too. And last but not least, the YouTube. Make sure you go ahead and grab that subscribe button and tap that noti bell so you can be reminded when the show goes in the air via live stream. And of course, leave a like and a comment with the episodes and topics. Stay tuned for more video content, upcoming episodes, previous episodes. Download your favorite episodes. Share the episodes, share the videos on YouTube to everybody, and along with tell a friend to another friend. Spread the word. Word of mouth is important. And of course, share the podcast along with the link that says linktree/gmoneystacks555 on there to your wives, your husbands, your boyfriends, your girlfriends, your friends, of course, your cousins, and the people that you're cool with at work. You know what I'm saying? So there you go right there, man. Listen, I appreciate every single one of you who actually got a chance to tune in. I know this was long. I'm gonna be out of here, man, before I hit the 3-hour mark. So let me get out of here, man. I'm G Money Stacks. Thank you very much for tuning in and rocking with me. I will see you guys in the next episode. Make sure you turn on your notifications on Instagram. Make sure you do the same with my other shows, Excellent Fun Vibrant Podcast, the Sports Edition Show, Meticulous Vibe Juice Podcast is also on YouTube as well. Make sure you subscribe over there along with all the audio streaming platforms that I just mentioned just now. Make sure you subscribe and follow the podcast on there as well. So there you go right there. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. Peace and one love, and have yourselves a good night.